Right now we're on our way to a property that we bought a few years back. This property is a Burger King. We purchased it for about $900,000. The rent was about $50,000 a year. There's a crazy story that goes with this Burger King. My dad bought it from a trustee. What that means is there was a family and the parents left this Burger King for their kids, and the parents both died, and the person that they put in charge is their trustee, someone who they trust that will manage the property and collect the rent and save it for their kids. This trustee ended up selling the Burger King to my dad, and my dad just saw Burger King go on the market. He bought it. It was just like a simple transaction for him, just buying a Burger King, nothing more, nothing less. Years later, my dad gets a lawsuit from the kids. Now the kids are grown up. They know that they were supposed to inherit a Burger King. Turns out the trustee did them so wrong. He sold the Burger King to my dad, and instead of 1031ing the funds from the sale, he turned around and just spent all the money on himself and then ended up dying. So they had no way of getting the money back because the person who was in charge of their finances, that their parents put in charge of their finances, just sold the property and just spent all the money and died. So what they tried to do was sue my dad for the property back. They were trying to give him what he paid for it back, which was $900,000. But the problem was the property is now worth $3.6 million because we redid the lease. When the lease expired, we raised the rent to $150,000. With that being said, they tried suing us. The first lawsuit, they lost. We spent years in court. My dad even offered them, before we found the verdict, my dad offered to give them back what he paid for it. So he was going to give them another $900,000. He already paid $900,000 for the property. He offered to give them another $900,000 just to get them to go away. They said no. They thought that they were going to win the case. The judge ended up siding with us, which is the right side. We bought it fair and square from the trustee. It was not our fault that their trustee took their money and spent it. Had nothing to do with us. After the case was closed, we ended up selling the Burger King for $3.6 million. And we took a very big profit. We ended up buying 3 7-Elevens with that profit. All those 7-Elevens are thriving. They're worth even more money now. So, it ended up being a home run deal, but it's sad that the parents died and they put someone who wasn't trustworthy as their trustee and really took advantage of the kids. And, we tried to do the right thing by giving them what we paid for it again. They were kind of being greedy. They didn't want to accept that. They wanted it back. They wanted the ownership back because they know we redid the lease and they knew what it was worth. We're going to go there. I'm going to show you the property, how we knew it was worth it, how we knew we could raise the rent to that amount. All right, guys, as you can see, we just got to the location. This Burger King is the one that we bought for $900,000 and sold for $3.6 million. How we knew that we could raise the rent to $150,000 is just because of where it is located on Long Island. It's in a very dense area. It's in Hempstead, New York. This location is desirable because it has a drive-through. It has multiple entrances to get in. It's a really good location for them. So we knew they were busy. We knew that it was undervalued at $50,000 a year in rent, and we knew that we can get them come up to $150,000 a year. We also got them for increases. That's pretty standard because of inflation. Every 5 years, the rent goes up. One thing to also note, after we raised the rent and they extended their lease for 20 years, they poured a bunch of money into renovating it to make it what it is today. Looks like a new construction site. They spent, I'd say, $1.5 million renovating to make it look how it looks today. They renovated the whole inside, the whole outside, and that made an investor come in and spend $3.6 million because It's remodeled, it has a long lease, and it's backed by Burger King. It has a corporate guarantee. It's also a triple net property. There's no expenses for the landlord, so you just have to every month just collect your check and just cash your check. That's all you have to do, which is really desirable. So just to recap, we bought that Burger King for $900,000. We knew it was very undervalued because of the low rent. We then raised the rent when the lease expired to market value rent, which was $150,000 a year. We sold it for $3.6 million. We made $2.7 million profit. We then 1031'd the money, and we bought 3 7-Elevens out of state for a total of $6 million. We also redid the lease on those. We turned those from being worth $6 million to $10 million. So just from our initial $900,000 investment, we've maneuvered with the 1031 system, and we didn't pay any tax, and we now have assets that are worth over $10 million. People always complain, that we didn't pay tax on the property, and the reason is that the government wants and keeps the 1031 in existence because it creates flow with developing properties. Now, see, I buy a property, I sell it, I go buy another property, I fix it, I develop it. It creates construction and development of properties that it just keeps going on. If the 1031 didn't exist, people who own their real estate would just keep it and not sell it, and there wouldn't be new development as much. It would be very stagnant. There needs to be an incentive for people to buy and sell real estate and develop and fix up, and that's actually, we were going to buy this Chipotle and this ammo store, but the deal ended up falling through. It was actually really good because it's right by Hofstra University. With the 1031, it creates jobs for everyday people, and it improves the economy, because if we buy a building and we fix it up and we create and develop something, that creates jobs for the economy. That's just how the economy keeps running. Guys, I also want to mention I'm going to be launching a WAP soon where I go more in depth about how everything works, and just to teach you guys exactly how commercial real estate works. Stay tuned on the channel. I'm going to be launching that soon. When I do, it's going to be free. You guys can all subscribe and learn and hopefully get into it yourselves, because it is possible for you to reach financial freedom by learning and doing it in the end, because we were able to do it and you're able to do it as well. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.